When most people think of weapons, they picture bullets, missiles, and swords. But sound has been a powerful tool of warfare for millennia. From the trumpet blast that brought down the walls of Jericho 3,500 years ago, to the US Navy's modern use of long-range acoustic devices, sonic weapons have played a crucial role in military strategy. These weapons can disrupt, disorient, and even injure, affecting people far beyond the direct line of fire. But how exactly do these sonic weapons work, and what types exist? Join us as we explore the different types of sonic weapons. Sonic and ultrasonic weapons make use of sound to incapacitate an opponent. But nowadays, military and police forces make limited use of these weapons. For many years, sonic weapons have been used against opponents, but no one would believe this as most people think of bullets, missiles, and swords as weapons. Military and police have always considered sound as a way to disorient their opponents. In World War II, when Germany led a siege on Stalingrad, the Soviet Union played Argentine tangos through loudspeakers, keeping their opponent awake and angry. Even in 1989, during the US invasion of Panama, the leader barricaded himself in the embassy, and the US troops blasted heavy metal every day, causing him to surrender. Sonic weapons are part of psychological warfare, and even Hitler had considered using them. His architect, Albert Speer, researched sonic weapons and made a device that he called the acoustic cannon. According to him, it produced focused sound waves that could kill a person within 100 yards in 30 seconds. The weapon was never used. So how did the use of sonic weapons evolve from the simple psychological tactics to advanced military technology? There are different types of sonic weapons, but perhaps the most popular are the long-range acoustic devices, which were the first ones to be created. These are used for military operations, crowd control, and maritime security. The LRAD can be used to project a human voice recording over thousands of meters or emit a sound so loud it can lead to permanent hearing loss. The LRAD produces focused, high-intensity sound waves over long distances. It is being used by law enforcement agencies, private security firms, and military forces. LRADs use advanced acoustic technology to make a highly directional beam of sound. The device typically consists of a large parabolic dish or a series of smaller speakers focusing and amplifying the sound waves. The main purpose of the LRAD is to emit a loud, piercing noise like a series of rapidly pulsating sounds or a high-pitched tone. This sound would be highly uncomfortable to the human ear, sometimes even painful, creating a strong urge to move away from the source. It also leads to dizziness and disorientation. If used for an extended period, it can cause permanent hearing damage. Since the LRAD is designed to be highly directional, operators can focus the sound on a particular target and avoid affecting other people. This is why police and military personnel use it during protests and chaotic situations. Although the LRAD is often used to deter protesters and communicate over long distances and in noisy situations, the intense sound output is highly concerning because it can lead to different side effects in people. Bystanders are often harmed by the use of these weapons. In a 2009 lawsuit, the government awarded $72,000 to a bystander who suffered permanent hearing loss when the LRAD was used against protesters. Sound became a proper weapon when the Pentagon deployed an actual sound weapon in Iraq. It was mounted on cars and used for crowd control directed towards Iraqis that were gathered at checkpoints to prevent suicide bombers. These devices could create pulses up to 149 decibels and seriously disorient the people. The sound was very intense and capable of damaging ears and causing nauseating pain. Police units have also used LRAD devices, like in the Occupy Wall Street rally in 2011 and during protests like the Black Lives Matter protests. The military-grade weapons are also used by the military, as naval ships use them to stop smaller boats and pirate ships from approaching. Many countries in the world now use sonic weapons, like Israel, Japan, China, and Cuba. Some people have even called it a car alarm from hell, eventually causing permanent damage to your hearing. In an interview, Corey Choi, an audio producer, reported on the 2014 Black Lives Matter protests in New York City. He said, "Horrible nauseating pain hit my body, and then I realized it was sound. At first, you just think, what's happening to me? Your body goes into complete pain and panic mode. It's the sound equivalent of looking into the sun." The sound is so disorienting, and although you might think that all you have to do is run in the opposite direction of where it's coming, but because of how loud and intense the sound is, it could be hard to pick a direction. Even Choi experienced this, as did many other people, saying people in the direct line of fire didn't run. They just dropped to the ground and started screaming. Aside from the LRAD, there are other types of sonic weapons that might not be popularly used by military and police departments. Sonic cannons can emit sound, painful sounds, over a long distance and can produce sounds at levels up to 160 decibels at a distance of 1 meter. This can cause permanent hearing damage even if it's used for a few seconds. At 160 decibels, they can even be higher than LRADs. For comparison, the loudest concerts could be at 110 decibels, but sonic cannons are way higher than that. Sonic cannons are used for different reasons, including crowd control, mass notifications, and negotiations. It is also used by defense forces, especially the Navy, when they are trying to scare off pirate ships and smaller boats that are approaching and refuse to obey instructions. You might have also noticed an acoustic hailing device used by police and fire departments. This is meant to be a loudspeaker or megaphone that is used to produce a loud, clear sound over a long distance. It is used to communicate in chaotic situations with a lot of people, like during an evacuation, search and rescue, mass notification, and public address announcements. A lot of law enforcement departments use the acoustic hailing device, including police departments, fire departments, first responders, and more. Although acoustic hailing devices are meant to be used for communication, they are still incredibly loud. In fact, acoustic hailing devices can have decibel levels high enough at 135 to 145 decibels to cause temporary or permanent hearing loss, which is why they are considered sonic weapons. In most cases, they cause severe discomfort in the ear. Infrasound weapons are a newer type of sonic technology and are considered to be useful in psychological warfare. In fact, they have been researched for psychological warfare and area denial, especially in scenarios where they need to disperse or deter people in a non-lethal way. Infrasound weapons actually operate at frequencies below human hearing, which is 20 Hz and below. Although you can't physically hear it, it will still cause physical discomfort, nausea, anxiety, or internal organ damage at high intensities when the sound is played. The problem with infrasound weapons is that you can't hear them, which means it becomes difficult to run away from the sound. The low sound can pass through concrete and travel long distances because of its low frequency and long wavelength. That makes it dangerous to use as no one can escape, even bystanders. For instance, the mosquito weapon now adopted by different police departments produces a high-pitched sound that can only be heard by teenagers and young people. There are supersonic bullets and subsonic bullets, and they are an interesting type of sonic weapon. These bullets are still theoretical and experimental, but the military has been using them in the testing phase. The military uses sonic bullets to incapacitate specific targets in a crowd without affecting nearby individuals. Sonic weapons are focused beams of sound that target specific individuals and locations. They use intense sound pressure waves that can cause physical pain, disorientation, and hearing damage. The supersonic bullets can travel faster than the speed of sound and break the sound barrier. When it moves, it produces a sonic boom that is similar to the sound of thunder or fighter jets. As for subsonic bullets, they travel slower than the speed of sound and won't make a sonic boom. They have less drop and less energy, using heavier bullets to maintain momentum and energy. A discussion of sonic weapons won't be complete without talking about sonic bombs, which are an important part of law enforcement apparatuses. They are deemed non-lethal, but with high-intensity sound waves that go as high as 149 decibels, they are far from harmless. In fact, sonic bombs produce a sound that is above the threshold for permanent hearing loss. Throwing sonic bombs can also cause people to lose their balance and severe headaches. Sonic bombs are often used by police and military forces. These bombs can be dated back to 2000, after the bombing of the USS Cole missile destroyer. After this terrifying event, the idea of sonic bombs emerged. When a sound bomb is thrown, it creates an extremely loud and sudden sound burst combined with a flash of light. It will disorient and stun individuals temporarily. The active denial system is another type of sonic weapon, which you might have noticed on police cars during protests. This is actually a non-lethal weapon that projects a wavelength, but this causes targets to feel an unbearable heat sensation. It is meant to be a non-lethal way to control crowds, and military forces use it to protect their base perimeter. ADS is also used to protect assets at sea. The vehicle-mounted ADS uses directed energy to meet specific targets. The ADS was used by the military in Afghanistan in 2010, but they never actually used it in combat. Still, it can disperse crowds, clear hostile areas, and protect facilities. The system can induce pain, but it won't cause lasting harm like hearing damage. Sonic blasters are weapons that work like sonic bombs or bullets, but with larger impact. It is used to stun or incapacitate people, but unlike other types of sonic weapons, they can also shatter bones or tear through matter in some extreme cases. Sonic blasters are also used by the military in urban combat, perimeter defense, and area denial, but they are still in the experimental phase. Sonic grenades are hand-thrown devices, and when they are thrown, they emit a loud, disorienting sound upon detonation. The intense noise and pressure can cause confusion and temporary incapacitation. The sonic weapon is a pretty interesting weapon that has been linked to different happenings, from Israelis using it in Palestine to Cuba using it to cause the Havana syndrome. These weapons have crazy effects on people, showing you just how dangerous sound-based weaponry can be. Do you think sonic weapons can be used at all? Let's hear your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more captivating and fascinating content. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.